Okay, I think he does. All right, we'll go ahead and start. We're about 4 minutes early, but what the heck? We're good with business for the city of Newman. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Dear Lord, we thank you for bringing us all here tonight. We ask that you watch over this great city of Newman. We ask that you give this council the wisdom and the guidance to do the right things for this city. In this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Present.
Hutchins. Candia.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martino.
Present.
Mayor Caton.
Present. Thank you. Declaration of conflicts of interest. Seeing them. But I think before we go on to item 6, I'd like to just take this opportunity to welcome our new Public Works Director, Kason Kim, to the city of Newman. Welcome, and look forward to some good things from you in the future.
Thank you very much. So I have a short introduction presentation later. So
Okay, yeah. When we get to I just want to get that out of the way real quick, and then when we do comments from our staff members, then you have at it. But I just wanted to say welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, now we're at item 6, ceremonial matters. A is presentation of PG&E Community Vitality Grant, the City of Newman for the skate park project. I think, Stephanie, you're going to handle the introduction at first.
Good evening, council and mayor. Stephanie House, Recreation Department and Recreation Coordinator for the City of Newman.
Eric Romero. I live at 2027 Carlsbad Caverns Court.
And Eric is here on behalf of the skate park committee. And we would like to introduce Richard Dye from PG&E, who is going to talk and give a donation for our skate plaza project.
Great. Welcome, Richard. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. It's a pleasure for PG&E to be able to partner with our local communities, where we provide services, and something that, over the last couple of years, we've done various things in the city of Newman, including supporting the local movies in the park. And that's something that, we look forward to continue participating in on some level. But this year, we thought that this was a special opportunity to provide assistance for a new project for the skate park. And so wanted to present to the city of Newman this ceremonial check. And Mayor, if you want me to present it to you over here.
We'll come up.
Or
I'll come up and join you guys over there.
It's not every day you get a Publishers Clearinghouse type check.
Come in there, buddy.
I want to present the city of Newman with this check from PG&E for $2,000 for the skate park project.
There you go. Thank you on behalf of the city of Newman. Thank you very much for your kind donation. I know the kids are excited, and we're excited to get this project going. So thank you so much. Okay, move on to our next item, and just like to warn you, if you have any illegal drugs on you, now it's time for you to leave. Chief?
Evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to introduce to you to Officer Ronil Singh and his partner Sam. Sam has been working on the streets. She started November 4th, was her first week on patrol. She worked 4 days. Out of those 4 days, they did 6 searches and located, out of those 6 searches, they located 3 times they located narcotics and made 3 arrests. So in the first week, she's had 3 felony arrests, which is pretty good for a small little town. Before you tonight, we've hidden some narcotics within the room, and we're going to show you what
Is that their excuse and their escape?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is. So we're going to watch her work now. She's nervous. She's never been around a crowd. with the air conditioner being on, it makes the scent go throughout the whole room. So what she's doing is she's double checking to make sure where she found it, and then that's her alert right there, is the sitting down. So if you, Ronil, if you'll lift up the thing and show everybody, that's what she was looking for. There's narcotics hidden inside there. So you saw she went all the way around the room, and she kept coming back, and she makes sure that that's where it's coming from, and then she sat down, which is her alert. So, good job, Sam. Thank you, guys.
Good job.
I think Sam will be very busy.
It's all a game to her. That's what she's doing. She thinks she's finding the tennis ball is what she thinks she's finding. So that's her reward.
Thanks, Ronell.
Just like my grandson.
Okay, thanks so much. We'll go to item 7, item from the public non-agenda items. Any member of the public wish to address the council, now would be time to do it. See, now we'll go to item 8, consent calendar. A is waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B is approval of the warrants. C is approval of the minutes of the October 22, 2013 meeting. D is adopt resolution number 2013 next to number, resolution supporting and encouraging Modesto Junior College to provide educational services to the west side. Council direction.
I make a motion that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Item 9 is public hearing. A is adopt resolution number 2013 next to number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4. Chief?
Evening, Mayor, council members. Before you tonight is another abatement on the residence. This notice informs owners of the nuisance abatement process and their option to right of a public hearing, which would be tonight. It is anticipated that owners will comply with the abatement notices prior to the hearing date. A final survey was conducted today, since yesterday was a holiday, and one of the addresses you have before you was cleaned prior to us going there, and that's 725 Barrington, so that one can be crossed off. Before you tonight, we do have one address that has already been cleaned up prior by the city, and it just needs to be boarded up by Public Works because we're having people going in and out of the house. So we've already had an abatement on this property. Now it's time to let us go in there and board it up so people can't make entrance. And that's 907 Fig Lane. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Questions of the chief or comments? Okay, if not, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council regarding this issue? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for direction.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2013 next number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. B, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2013 next to number, an ordinance amending Title V zoning and accompanying zoning maps of the City of Newman and authorizing staff to publish a summary of said ordinance. Staff?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is a second reading of ordinance number 2013 next to number for the zone change 2013-01, amending the Villas Plan Development Project. As discussed at the last city council meeting, the applicant is requesting a reconfiguration of the existing plan development, including a new layout, elevations, and reduced density. Per the city council direction, staff contacted the applicant regarding the concern of a safety barrier along Hills Ferry Road. In an effort to properly vet the city council's concerns, the applicant has requested that the public hearing be continued to the next meeting to allow them more time to evaluate their options. Therefore, staff does recommend that the city council open the public hearing for comment and continue the public hearing to the next council meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments of staff? Okay, I'll open the public hearing, and we'll just continue the public hearing until our next meeting. So I'll need a motion to continue the public hearing
I'll make a motion, we keep the public hearing open until the next meeting.
till December 10th.
Yes.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Okay, move to item C. Second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2013, next number, an ordinance amending Title 8, Health and Sanitation, Chapter 8.05, Administrative Citation, Section 8.05.10, applicability of the City of Newman Municipal Code, and authorizing staff to publish a summary of said ordinance. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As you may recall, we were proposing some changes to the building code. As part of that process, I believe it was Councilmember Hutchins had requested that we look into the opportunity to include the administrative citation in addition to the opportunity to cite someone for a misdemeanor, and they could do either or alternatively. We had to do some modifications to the existing ordinance, which was to strike Section 8.05.010, where it said applicability. The way the code currently reads is that the administrative citations process set forth in this chapter does not apply to continuing violations of this code that pertain to building, plumbing, electrical, and other similar structural and zoning issues. We would like that stricken from there, and then we will add language into the building code that allows us to either process the violation as a misdemeanor or an administrative citation. It just gives staff more flexibility, and with the way the court system is currently operating at minor levels, the prospects of having a misdemeanor charge processed in court is very minute at this time, so an administrative citation process may be a better process. With that, I can answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Questions of the city manager? If not, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council regarding this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council for direction.
I so move that the second reading adoption of ordinance number 2013, next number, an ordinance amending the Title 8 Health and Sanitation, Chapter 805, Administrative Citation, Section 8.05-10, applicability of the Newman Municipal Code, and authorizing staff to publish a summary of said ordinance,
Second the motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Okay, go to item 10B, adopt resolution number 2013, next to number, a resolution receiving and accepting the general purpose financial statement and Transportation Development Act audits for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013. Did I skip one? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I skipped 10A. We'll go back to 10A, second reading of adoption ordinance. Ordinance number 2013, next number, an ordinance amending Title 4 Building Regulations of the City of Newman, incorporating the California Code of Regulations Title 24, 2013, edition of the California Building Standards Code, and authorizing staff to publish summary of said ordinance. Hi, Mike. Hello. I didn't mean to pass over you.
That's okay. Mr. Mayor, Council. The building codes are updated every 3 years. This allows the codes to improve and adjust to the newest materials, methods of construction, and technological advances in the industry. The objective is to produce a practical building code that ensures public safety first and foremost, while implementing the most efficient technology available to conserve the state's natural resources and energy use. California building codes is applied to virtually every commercial and residential structure in the state. So this is the second reading and adoption of the ordinance amending Title 4 of the Building Codes of the City of Newman to incorporate the 2013 edition of the California Building Code standard and authorizing staff to publish a summary of said ordinance.
Any questions of Mike? There are no questions in council direction.
I'll make a motion that we adopt second reading. Is that right?
Yep.
Or approve, okay, adopt second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2013, next number. An ordinance amending Title 4 Building Regulations of the Newman City Code, incorporating the California Code of Regulations, Title 24, 2013 edition of the California Building Standards Code, and authorizing staff to publish a summary of said ordinance.
I second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Now go to 10B, adopt resolution number 2013, next to number, a resolution receiving and accepting the general purpose financial statement and Transportation Development Act audits for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2013. Lou.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you tonight is a resolution to receive and accept the general purpose financial statement and the Transportation Development Act audits for the 2012-13 fiscal year. Since last June, the Finance Department has been working with Clendon Bird and Company, providing them reports, documents, and reconciliations of the city's financial activities for the previous fiscal year. Since last June, the finance staff has submitted to our auditors over 230 electronic files and a little over half a gigabyte of data. It used to be 2.5 to 3 bankers' boxes of data. They're all digital. So, Michelle Gallagher from Clendon Bird and Company is here tonight to present the financial audit.
Welcome, Michelle.
Mayor, council members. Again, my name is Michelle Gallagher. I was the lead auditor on the audit this year, once again this year. This year's audit received an unqualified opinion, which is the highest opinion you can receive. Like Lou said, there was a lot of documentation, but it was all in order. There were no findings or concerns with those documentations, and I don't believe there were any adjusting journal entries. The financial statements this year were quite a bit easier than last year's, considering we didn't have to deal with the redevelopment agency dissolution. So it's pretty straightforward. The only highlight that I wanted to point out to you was that in your MD&A, it is very explanatory on your revenues versus your expenditures and your deficit for the year, but it was under budget compared to what you were expected to do. So that was very good. If there's any questions, I can take any questions, but it's pretty straightforward in terms of compared to last year. Once again, you guys received an unqualified.
And our general fund is $93,000 better than it was last year. I'd say that's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
No, our general fund is actually $155,000 less.
But it's an improvement of $93,000.
Yeah, we originally budgeted $248,000 loss.
Right.
Okay.
We improved that to
Okay.
Yeah, our preliminary
So
budget.
there's an improvement, though.
Yeah, our final budget was an improvement over our preliminary budget.
Right.
We had expected a deficit in excess of $240,000. Thanks to the diligence of your staff and the department heads here that really controlled their spending, our budget deficit this year was $155,000, which
Right.
was much better than we originally anticipated. But
So I lied, 'cause I told other council members from other cities our deficit was $250,000. So I can correct them now.
yes.
It's interesting that at the league meetings, obviously, council members and mayors of other cities are, all faced with the same deficit issues, and everybody's comparing numbers. And so I told them that ours was about $250,000, which even at that number is a lot better than a lot of other cities.
And Mayor, I think the council needs to also take into consideration that this was a give-back year, so we eliminated a lot of our furloughs. We are no longer on a furlough basis for our miscellaneous. And this current fiscal year, the police department no longer has furloughs as well. So we're returning back to service levels that the community had experienced prior to the recession.
Yeah, that's great. Any questions or comments from Michelle? That's a great report. Thanks so much, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys, and thank you to the staff for
Yeah,
their help.
we have a great staff. Thank you. Okay. With that, council direction?
I so move the resolution receiving and accepting the general purpose financial statement and Transportation Development and audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2013.
I second the motion.
And a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks again, Michelle. And thank you, staff. Item C, report on appointment to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. With the recent reappointment of Mr. Murray Day to our Planning Commission, we had a vacancy on the Rec Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission. We advertised it and did receive one letter of interest. Unfortunately, tonight, we did receive a letter from Ms. Rocha indicating that she had a prior commitment as her daughter made the all-star team for cheerleading, and it was incumbent upon her to accompany her daughter to the practice, and was unable to make it here tonight. But she is still interested in the position, if the council so desires.
Okay. Council pleasure. We only have one applicant. We have one position.
Pointer.
Okay, make the motion. Make the motion.
Oh. I'll make a motion that we appoint, the name again?
Ms. Janice Rocha.
Janice Rocha to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Janice, whenever you show up. Maria, you'll deliver the good news to her. Thank you so much. And
She's
again,
right where she's supposed to be.
Yes. And again, as on behalf of the city, we appreciate our citizens for stepping up and volunteer to fill positions. And sometimes they may not think they're very important, but they are. They are very important positions. So I'm sure Stephanie's glad to have a full recreation staff, and we're glad to have them on there as well. So on behalf of City of Newman, congratulate her and thank her for us. Thank you. Okay, item D, report on the Newman Chamber of Commerce tree lighting event at the Downtown Plaza. Chief, or Lieutenant?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. The Newman Chamber of Commerce has requested exclusive use of the Downtown Plaza in the 1300 block of Main Street on December 7th, 2013, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to host the annual tree lighting event. Event organizers have scheduled fire truck rides from 3 to 4:30 and food and craft booths. There will be a DJ playing holiday music for the duration of the event, and this will be a no alcohol event. The event has no conflicts with any other advertised community events that we're aware of at this time. The Chamber has made the following requests. They would like exclusive use of the Downtown Plaza and the 1300 block of Main Street, use of the plaza restroom facilities and the electrical power at the plaza. They also request waiver of the downtown standards in the following areas: the cleanup deposit, business license for individual vendors, an insurance reduction from $3 million to $1 million, and traffic control and crowd control devices. All other standards for downtown events will apply. The event organizers have prepared a configuration for the event that has the 1300 block of Main Street closed to vehicular traffic. The west parking lot will be closed to traffic and used for vendor booths, and the east parking lot will remain open for traffic, or for parking. Staff recommends City Council approve the Newman Chamber of Commerce tree lighting event scheduled for December 7th, 2013 from 3 to 7, and I will answer any questions that you may have.
Chief, or Lieutenant, either one of you, in the past, has the city provided police officers for that event?
Generally not, no.
Okay, so there's no officer assigned to the downtown area during that event?
No.
Okay.
Generally, we have explorers and volunteers
Yeah,
down there, but no uniform person.
Okay. Other questions from council? Council direction?
I'll make a motion, we approve the Newman Chamber of Commerce tree lighting event scheduled for the Downtown Plaza on December 7th, 2013, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
I second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed, I'm sorry. Motion passed. Carry on, Chamber.
Let the party begin.
Yeah. Okay. Item 8, report on contract with City of Turlock for municipal legal services. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. As you know, Mr. Tom Hallinan serves as our city attorney, and there's also been a number of instances where we've had to go to third-party firms to do some of the specialized stuff, especially personnel issues, as they're constantly changing. We've utilized their services there, and then also some contract administration and some of the lawsuit issues. We started just talking around at a city manager's meeting one time about, some of these costs. At that point in time, I just joked with the city of Turlock, well, we should just use your attorney, and then we could all, get along well. That kind of led into some more conversations. We've come up with a proposal that we would like to do on a trial basis, although this is a 3-year contract. What we are proposing is a city contract for a minimum of 10 hours a month for $1,000. That's $100 an hour. Many outside firms charge double and sometimes triple that amount for legal services. We think this is a great deal. As a city attorney for another city in Stanislaus County, they also deal with a lot of the same issues that Tom and us have to deal with as well, so we can share services there. So with that, we're asking that you consider adoption and allow the city manager to execute a contract with the city of Turlock for this contract for a minimum of 10 hours a month. Any additional hours over the 10 would be billed at $150 an hour, which is still a very reasonable rate at that point in time. We would only use these services for issues that Tom feels that it believes is an appropriate use of using those hours on. There is a 10-day out clause, so at any point in time, should either party not be happy with the current contract, 10-day written notice, you can get out of the contract. Either party can get out of the contract. Any work product that is generated during that time would then become property and turned over to the city of Newman. So it really, in our opinion, is kind of almost a win-win situation for all parties involved. And it should be noted that, Mr. Hallinan will still continue to be our official city attorney. This is only supplemental service. So I can answer any questions that you may have right now.
Questions or comments from Michael? Okay. Council direction.
I so move that the city council authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with the city of Turlock for municipal league services.
Second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 11, items from District 5 Supervisor Jim D. Martini. Jim?
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members. I have just a few things tonight. First of all, the West Side Healthcare Task Force is going to be judging our entries for the art and essay contest on Monday, the 18th, at the Del Puerto Healthcare District's boardroom in Patterson. We're going to do that at 9 o'clock, and we will pick the winners and then take our calendar and get it printed and have it distributed. I will be going to all the school districts beginning on December 2nd, putting out the prizes and then and giving the calendars to the school districts. I'll bring some here for the city of Newman too next time I come. So that's coming along just fine. We got quite a pile of them in today that the school districts are mailing them, and Councilman Joe Oliveira is picking them up from Our Lady of Miracles and from Sacred Heart. So anyway, Monday we will do that judging. As I told you before on another issue, the county is contracted with somebody to do the environmental work at the Crow's Landing Air Base. That has started now. We have the contract, and we will be doing some community meetings sometime after the first of the year for comments from the public. This is something that just wasn't done last time. And so we'll be listening to the community this time and see, what may be acceptable and what they think of, development of the air base. We don't have the meeting set yet, but I will announce it as soon as they are. And it'll be more than one. So people that have comments about the development of the air base, what you'd like to see, what you don't want, we will be listening this time where we really weren't the last time. The difference this time really is that we do not have a developer. The county is doing all this work ahead of time to be sure that it's right, the environmental work is done, public comment is received, and when all that's finished, then we will go out for a request for proposal for a developer to do developing of the air base. Also this time that it may not just be a single developer that's doing the whole base, it may be 3 or 4 of them. So we're open if somebody's interested in just doing a part, so many acres, we would entertain that too. If a developer wants to do the whole thing, then that'd be all right too. So as soon as we get some dates of these meetings, I'll be sure to let you know well ahead of time. Also, I noticed, again, your Parks and Recreation Commission, you filled a position. We still have ours open, so it's been open ever since Adrian Cheney, the Parks Director of Patterson, moved to Washington. So if anybody out there listening to this is interested in the County Parks and Rec Commission, that the position for District 5 is still open. The Parks Commission does meet this week, meets on this Thursday at 5 o'clock at the Ag Center, at the County Ag Center. We really like to get this position filled, you know, I realize it's probably a thankless job, but, you know, they do oversee and make recommendations to the board of the county parks. Ones in this area would be Laird Park and Frank Rains Park. We also have an off-road park in Waterford, or actually LaGrange, and then we have the reservoirs, the two of those. So anybody's interested, just let me know. Also, one last thing is that the county last month has passed the groundwater ordinance. It's the first part of it. We worked on it for years, and this is an ordinance that prevents export of groundwater out of the county. There are a few exemptions. One of them in particular is a guy up at Del Puerto Canyon who pumps water and bottles it and sells it. Of course, you know, that was not the problem. So there's some exemptions here and there. And for some irrigation districts that pump some water and move it small distances, that was really not our concern. Anyway, that is passed unanimously from the board, and now we are beginning to work on possible regulation of restrictions of pumping. Especially what I think that we might be looking at is, you know, development of pasture land on the east side. That is, orchards are going in without an irrigation system and are only reliant on groundwater. So this is what we're going to be looking at next. The Ag Advisory Board has taken it up last month at its meeting, and something will probably come out of the county on it, probably within the year, most likely. We did get a letter from the city of Turlock objecting to the amount of groundwater being pumped for ag uses up in the hills, which are affecting their aquifer. As you know, all cities except for Modesto are completely reliant on groundwater for their municipal water supply. So as the water table is dropping, we have to really look at, you know, what makes sense. And although I probably dislike government regulation probably more than most people, but in this particular instance, some regulation probably would be necessary to keep from depleting our groundwater. Okay, and that's all I have this evening.
Any questions for Jim?
One
Go ahead.
question. Supervisor, I have just a question on the new airport. And as far as environmentally, will that be ready before you go out and try to get anyone to use the land? Or would that be completed?
No, I don't think so. It's probably be next summer. We will start having meetings before that's done. You remember, that's a BRAC closure. It's a former military base, so it does have environmental issues. And for a developer going in there, there was a lot of unknowns. I mean, the military just, when they got through with something, they didn't recycle it. They just dug a hole and buried it. And so we're assessing that and doing some soil tests. That's going to take at least till the end of the summer and doing that report. But the community meetings I'm talking about will occur before they're done with the report. And part of the report will have comments from the community on it. We're trying to present this to a future developer that, okay, this is what the environmental conditions are. This is, you know, groundwater conditions, soil contamination, if there is any. And what the community has to say about the project. You know, what you like and don't like. So we're going to try and put together a package so that when we have a request for proposal, it isn't going to be something completely different than what everybody wants. As you recall, the struggle we had with the last developer, the project proposed was entirely different than what the community wanted. And the steering committee had made a recommendation that was ignored. Learning from our mistakes, which, it's always easy to look back, but I think we're going to do things quite differently this time.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly a step in the right direction. Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item 12, items from the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I want to echo your original comment. I'd like to welcome Mr. Kasun Kim to our team. He's already making an impact in just his first week, so we're excited to have him here. We're looking forward to working with him for many years to come, and he will be doing a presentation for you in just a little bit. And then I'd also like to thank Mr. Dye and PG&E for the gracious donation to our Skate Plaza project. Ms. House and her young adults at the Teen Center have been working hard, really diligently to raise funds for this particular project. They stepped up and came out every week of soccer this week and ran the snack bar so that they could take the proceeds from the snack bar at the soccer this year and apply that to the Skate Plaza. They've done fundraising as part of the Founders Day Festival. So the young adults in this community are really putting forth an effort to get the Skate Plaza done. And that's good to see that, there's that much enthusiasm that they would come out and spend their Saturdays and doing fundraising on that. So it goes to show you that it's going to be a good project. And again, Ms. House has been coordinating that, and I want to thank her for that. I do want to announce just a couple of things. The Rec Commission and Planning Commission and the second City Council meeting of this month have been canceled. So our next meeting will be December 10th. That would be the last meeting of this calendar year for the council. There's a few items that are tentatively scheduled. One of those items was, again, tentatively scheduled for tonight, but since Mr. Councilmember Hutchins was unable to attend, we rescheduled it, and that's the organized team activities. As you recall, we're experiencing more and more travel teams that are looking to utilize facilities for games and practices. You sent that item down to the Parks and Rec Commission to get their recommendation. So those recommendations will be coming back up to you on December 10th, and then you'll give direction, and some of them will require some ordinance amendments, but we want to get your input before we move forward with those. So that will be occurring on December 10th. And lastly, it's been 2 years that you appointed members to the baseball board. Those terms are up, so we've now are advertising for anybody who wants to do a 2-year term on the baseball board. That will be out in the newspaper this week. We are taking applications up till December 5th, and then that'll come back before you for appointments should we receive enough applicants or any applicants. That'll come back before you at your next meeting again on December 10th. So,
great. With
that, I can answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Questions or comments from Michael? Not? Thank you. Chief?
I don't have anything tonight, but I can answer any questions.
Okay, anything with the chief? Stephanie?
Just a few things. Wanted to let the city council know that the lot line adjustment for Dollar General was picked up today to be recorded, so that's one small step. The permits have been pulled, so they should be getting to work here pretty soon. I think they're just trying to tie up the loose ends to get some construction going. So we'll have a new store sometime next year, so
Great.
That's some nice economic development there. Also, I've been meeting with our new Public Works Director, Kasun, and our city engineer regarding upcoming CDBG projects. So we're starting the process of planning for the fiscal year 14-15 project list. So we're looking forward to doing some additional infrastructure improvements in the city. And also wanted to notify the council that the planning department is again working with Stanislaus State for its GIS internship program. We had a successful run last year with some interns, and I've been communicating with the dean of the department, and we already have 2 students identified for this spring semester to do some additional GIS plotting and work for the city. So it's a win-win. The city gets valuable data, and they get valuable work experience.
Yeah.
So just happy to answer any questions.
That's great. Any questions or comments? Thank you, Steph. That's great. Lou?
Just briefly, the treasurer's report for the month of October is in your inbox.
Great. Thank you. Son?
Yes, I have
You're up.
brief presentation tonight. City Mayor, the council members, it's a great honor for me to work for the city of Newman and serving the public here as a public works director.
even though it's just 1 week with the city, but I found that this city is very potential for the future growth as like other cities in other communities. So we have a really good plan, and I found that our staff here has a really good capability to work with for the good plan in the future. So since we have several key projects next several months and next years, which requires some council approval, so I'm going to share the project, the key project with you tonight, because that is really important for this community. So I summarize kind of briefly about the key project here. The new stormwater permit, the FEMA community rating system, and measurable performance. The first item is regarding the new stormwater permit. State Water Resources Control Board recently adopted the Phase 2 stormwater permit. So City of Newman just became the Phase 2 permit community on July 1st, 2013, which require a very extensive program next 5 years. So every community is saying that it's kind of new world, because this new permit is really stringent. There are always pros and cons. That's what I'm going to share with you tonight. And this 5-year extensive program include public education and outreach program, and illicit discharge detection and elimination, post-construction pest management program, water quality monitoring, and program effectiveness assessment. So with all this, the program we are going to develop, there are some challenges, benefit, because this stormwater permit fee has been increased recently, significantly, and also this new program, new permit, affect our general fund in the future. The benefit of this new permit is we can expect to improve our water quality significantly, and we can prevent some other the future liability issue. Because, for example, in the past, before July 1st, 2013, any accidental oil spill happened in the industrial site, and all those oil actually flew into the storm drainage system without any treatment. It goes to San Joaquin River. So it is creating a lot of big penalty. For example, the state charging like $10,000 per day until the permitted cleaning up. But based on the new permit, we are requiring the developer or consulting company to install kind of shut-off valve for loading, unloading areas. This is one of the many examples. The city needs to develop that types of oil spill prevention plans for this community. So the city staff and myself will working on it. So basically, many cities is really concerned about this new permit because that impact on the general fund. So based on my research last 1 week, I found that our city staff in-house can handle most of the job, most of the permit program next several years. So my goal at this point is to minimize the impact on the general fund, because the city staff can handle minimum 80 to 90% of the permit program next several years, so that we can reduce the reliance on the consulting company. That will minimize impact on our general fund. The second big, the key project for this community is regarding the FEMA community rating system, which is called the CRS program. This CRS program is voluntary program for National Flood Insurance Program communities. So this requires the city to develop the extra measures for flood protection. However, at once the FEMA approved our certification, our application, the community can get big incentives, as like a flood insurance discount. So for example, this CRS program includes the new application package, which can be prepared by our city staff here in-house. And the FEMA CRS specialists need to visit the site next couple of months. This is one of the requirements. And the city is going to update our ordinances and the city website for flood maps and information.
and eventually we are going to upgrade drainage system and maintenance. So overall, once the FEMA approve our application for the CRS program, that this community can get some discount on the flood insurance premium. For example, it starts from 5% all the way to 45%. So even though 45% discount on the flood insurance premium is kind of rare, but still our community can start maybe 5, 10, 15%. It depends on FEMA's decision on our application package. So that will be a direct impact on this community. So for example, this morning, I want to share the kind of good example. One gentleman from the downtown who owns a small the house visited my office, and he showed insurance premium, the statement for the next year. It's a small house, but the premium is more than $2,100. So he's really concerned about the future increase because it keep going up. So eventually we are going to have some kind of improvement on levy, but however it takes time. So I think the CRS program will be a big benefit to the local business as well as local homeowners. So that's our one of the highest priority at this point. So our staff will be working on the CRS program very diligently next several months.
So just real quick.
Yes.
I know the federal government moves at lightning speed. Any idea how long it take for the FEMA approval of the time estimate once it's submitted?
One of the requirements is to invite the CRS specialist from FEMA, but the gentleman, his name is Dave Arkins, but he's managing not only the Northern California, but he also managing the Nevada. So it depends on his schedule, but I'm pushing a lot the schedule so that we can invite him to this community, and then that's the kind of starting point to prepare the package, the application package. So I'm expecting the minimum 3 to 6 months because it requires a lot of new programs. But however, there's several steps to prepare, so I'm going to prepare some kind of approval process from the council members.
Great, okay.
So overall, with these two key projects, the Phase 2 storm permit and FEMA CRS program, we can achieve some effectiveness assessment, and also city can provide an annual report on a regular basis, and eventually we can achieve the goals, which means the measurable performance. So because the state and FEMA want to see that how we operate at the city, they want to see the measurable performance on a regular basis. So the city staff, we are going to develop those programs next several years so that we can achieve the goals as a whole. It's just 1 week, but based on my research last week, I found that the city has really good structure in terms of storm, sewer, water, street, and O&M. And another, my goal for this community, this city is evaluating the personnel and the management capabilities so that we can make a really good program for those two key projects. And then eventually, we all going to improve the public, the service as a whole. That's my goal next several months to several years. So any question, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions, Kissa? I would think if you could get somebody out here 3 to 6 months, that'd be some kind of record. But
So
I applaud your efforts.
I have a really good experience in the past, so hopefully we can make it in-house.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for the nice presentation. Appreciate it. Thank you. And
Thank
again,
you.
welcome to Newman.
Thank you.
So you jumped in with both feet, both hands, and I think the city appreciates that so much. Okay. Items from council members. Councilman Davis?
I don't have anything.
Nick?
Nothing tonight.
Bob?
I'd like to say, we have the skateboard park that we're talking about, and I think it's very, very positive. In this city, as most of you know that live here, we don't have a lot of things for the young people to do. And so this, to me, is a very positive thing, and I really look forward to trying to make this happen as soon as possible so these young people can utilize that area. It's, as we all know, it's an area that one time is where our city plunge or city pool was located, and it'd be great to see it utilized again. So we thank PG&E for coming forward and initiating, starting this program. So nothing but great things, and look forward to it. And then, of course, I'd like to welcome the director. We're excited about having you come aboard, and looks like you have some real ambitious things to accomplish, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have tonight.
Thanks.
Mayor, just one quick
Yes.
to build off what Bob said. Last week we did have a design workshop for the skate plaza, and then I think we continue to have one more, two more.
We had about a dozen people come and put out their ideas for as far as not only for my kids, but visually for the community. And right now, they're going to put together a preliminary design, and then we'll schedule another community meeting.
Great. Well, I also would like to thank PG&E for your generous donation. It's greatly appreciated. And for the kids that are involved in it, I just applaud you. I mean, the skateboarders are sometimes really chastised, and I applaud you for getting behind us, and thank you and all your friends for jumping in and doing something positive for this community. It's greatly appreciated, and I'm just really, really pleased that you guys have taken it to heart and turned the so-called skateboarders image around. I think that's great, so thank you so much. All right, with that, a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.